Hi everyone, it's Chenso from Reality Art Pod, here to recap the two-part premiere of the Challenge 42, two episodes that dropped at once in the dead of night. It's so good to be back. Before I dive in, links in the description to my Cutthroat playlist, where you can find my cast assessment. If you like the content, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting what you thought of the two-part premiere. But let's dive into it, starting with the first episode, titled Return to Cutthroat. Players are in Bangkok, Thailand, and barreling down the stairs of a building, racing to God knows where. TJ introduces the return of the Cutthroat theme, where players will battle in teams. The top 8 finishers of this race will have a chance to be captains of the 3 teams. Izzy is in Mackenzie's blue bodysuit, so get out of her way. Sydney finishes this race first, telling us if she didn't make the top, she must have been hit by a car. She still feels she should have won last season, and is followed by Izzy, Love Island rookie Josh, Chris, Will, Justin, Leo, and Amazing Race Annalie, all newer players in the top. These veterans need to watch out. The villa looks amazing. I love when the players are living in a classic challenge house and not an underground bunker. Leo is last to find a key in the kitchen, saying he should have been more of a big back. Annalie finishes her puzzle first, followed by Chris, who Tori knows is a great competitor from their time on USA 2, and Justin. They'll be the 3 team captains. Will still seems kind of salty that Justin and Nani threw him to the wolves in elimination last season, but they're still friends and he wants Justin to pick him. Bananas does his toast, dedicated to Nelson's return. Then Johnny Bananas' booty cheeks are on my screen. Corey gives a long alibi as to why he's horny, because he's a parent and his co-parent isn't giving him nothing at home, but he's been, I guess, involuntarily celibate back home and now he's trying to get with Izzy. We've got Keanu from Big Brother syncing up with Annalie. Cedric wants to be on their team, but Annalie thinks Cedric is a snake. She does not want him on their team. Adrian tells us she is tired, but not too tired to flirt, so she's getting to work, flirting with Josh, telling him she wants pizza. Nelson talks about his accident, saying he was drunk driving, got in an accident and lost his leg, telling us he made a mistake, wants to own it, and vows he'll never drink and drive again. Justin is still feeling bitter and petty against Cedric for edging him out of last season, and tells Sydney he will not allow Cedric to get to a final again. Bananas, Tori, and Michelle had drama on season 40. We're going to be tracking their healing journey this season because they seem to want to work together, and also maybe have to work together since none of them can seem to win a foot race. Nerys tells us she does not like Bananas because he's been talking about her breakup with Horacio everywhere he goes. As always, I'm wishing Horacio was on this season. TJ tells them the captains won't be choosing their own teams, they'll choose each other's teams. This is very confusing. The picking starts with Annalie promising to give Chris Tori in exchange for Sydney, but Annalie doesn't do it, and this just ends up being a schoolyard pick in reverse, with Adrian, Deb, and Cedric being the first picks. And when Justin sends Sydney to Chris, Annalie can see she's getting sent the C squad of players the other 2 don't want, as Chris and Justin work together to give each other their ideal picks. So we've got our final teams. Chris's gray team with Adrian, Sydney, Nerys, Corey, Cassidy, Keanu, and Leo. Justin's orange with Deb, Will, Bananas, Michelle, Tori, Izzy, and CT. And Annalie's blue team with Cedric, Riley, Letty, Brad, Nelson, Josh, and Cara Maria. First impression, all 3 teams are strong, but orange team seems stacked with the power broker game players. The captains have to pick co-captains. Annalie picks Nelson, Chris picks Sydney, and Justin picks Michelle. Back at the house, CT is happy. They have 13 combined wins on their team, and teams study facts about each other and game plan their strengths before the next stage challenge. Their daily challenge is called Right This Way. Players are trying to get their teammates across a narrow bridge, while the other teams rock the bridge. The team who gets the most players across the fastest will win the daily. They get started with Gray going first. This is a classic challenge, and was fun to watch. Once they get to rope pulling, Corey, Sydney, and Cassidy wipe out. Adrian shows off by crawling to the finish. This crawling technique was the move for Adrian, but Chris tries it. He can't keep those knees up. So Gray gets 4 points from Nerys, Keanu, Adrian, and Leo. Orange goes next, and the vets are not good at this. CT, Bananas, Tori, Michelle, and Justin all wipe out in succession. Will and Izzy are the only 2 to complete this. A disaster from Team Orange. Up last are blue. We've got Josh, Cara, Riley, Cedric wiping out. Nelson is about to have his moment. He runs right into the water. And when Brad is disqualified, this is a mess from blue. Annalie and Riley are the only 2 to finish. So Gray with 4 points win this challenge, learning that captains Chris and Sydney will get to decide who will battle it out in the elimination arena to get players on the chopping block. With the second place time, as captains of the second place team, Justin and Michelle will be safe and will pick one player from their team to nominate. The rest of the orange team will then vote for for one other player to be eligible. The third nominee will come from the blue team, where the captains are not safe. The winning gray team captains will choose which two of the three nominees will face the arena, and this will be a guys elimination day. This was so confusing, so if you think it's confusing, blame them, not me. Players get to strategizing. Keanu wants to target the players who were in the top 8 in the first challenge, but CT thinks Keanu is being too ambitious. Michelle doesn't want to send in the vets, but the orange team's options are just Will, Bananas, and CT, so they plan to stalemate to avoid accountability. Orange captains Michelle and Justin choose to nominate Will, telling us they made a deal with the other teams to keep Will safe from elimination. Tori shares the plan to stalemate, so they're going to tie the vote on purpose on Bananas and CT. CT is not happy with this. He thinks if they really voted, they would vote in Bananas, but Tori stands on business about the stalemate. Johnny says that Boston mumble scumbag CT has entered the building. As usual, TJ is upset and judgmental that it's a tie, as Bananas and CT continue to squabble and call each other lazy losers. So TJ brings Justin and Michelle back into the room and drops the hammer on them, forcing the opposing gender captain, Michelle, to make the final decision. She says she's playing with her head and chooses to nominate Bananas. Michelle is torn up about this, crying about how she's never going to repair her relationship with Bananas now. At least she wants to. Heading to elimination, TJ brings out Will, Bananas, and the men from the blue team. The winning captains will get to choose one man from the entire blue team and one of the two nominees from orange to face off in this elimination. They choose Bananas and young Cedric to face off here. Cedric declares war on Sydney and tells Justin their vendetta should have been handled in the sand and not in a vote. They'll be playing Burnout, racing to hit their buttons to turn their lights their team color. At the end of 5 minutes, the player with more lights their color will win the elimination, and if one player can light all of the lights, they'll win right there. So they get started. These two are right on each other's tails, but Cedric seems confused and disoriented. He's using just one hand, missing the buttons. This was a disaster from Cedric, who I thought was going to eat this up. Bananas eventually lights all of the lights and clears Cedric, winning the elimination. Letty is shouting from the sidelines, "That's bullshit." How is this bullshit? You watched it happen with your own eyes. TJ calls Cedric the nicest person to ever come on the show, and Cedric is very upset. So we lose young Cedric, who I love on this show. This was a major loss for all of us. I'm upset, he's upset, but he did deserve to go home after this elimination performance. I'm confident we'll see him again. TJ likes him, and there's still this unsettled beef with Justin and now Sydney that we need to track over time. TJ tells Johnny he served up a severe ass whooping, sending him back to his orange team, and TJ instructs the captains to choose replacement captains, telling them everyone will get a chance to be captain before captains can repeat. Keanu and Adrian are the new gray captains, CT and Tori for orange, and Josh and Kara for blue, which leads us to episode 2 titled Crying Won't Get You Off This Roof. Johnny and Brad unwind after elimination. Bananas feels like Orange is probably going to send Deb into elimination, so if he wanted to, he could just chill in this week's daily. Tori tries to make a captain's deal with Keanu, telling him she'll pick a girl to replace her as captain who will keep him safe next week if he keeps her safe this week. But Keanu tells us he has no interest in really making any decisions this week. There are gross things happening outside. Will and Deb are flirting. Will tells her she turns him on. Letty is exfoliating her leg in the pool, which disgusts everyone but turns Bananas on, so he joins her and does the same. Corey wants to get freaky too. He's running his game on Izzy, but Izzy tells us she wants to focus on the game and not be seen as someone who's just trying to have a showmance. But here she is having a deep conversation with Corey in whisper tones. Nelson has a confessional telling us that Corey flirting with Izzy is not respecting his baby mama. I don't know anything about the situation, but I'm going to take Nelson's word for it that Corey and his baby mama aren't really over. The next day, Keanu and his team squabble over each other's gameplay, and Chris gives them a reality check that they just need to have each other's backs. They head to their next challenge at night, and I feel like 2 days have just flown by in this edit. They're playing If You Know, You Know. In 2 rounds, players will be standing over trapdoors. As a player in the mystery box answers yes or no questions, the other players will guess who is in the mystery box. If they're wrong, they'll pull the lever crunk and send their ass falling down. Gray team is first. They all correctly guess Chris is in the box, scoring 3 points. Orange team then decides to gamify this. Michelle comes up with a code for them to answer the questions strategically, not truthfully. So they game the system and get 3 points points with CT in the mystery box. On blue team's turn, Kara is terrified, but she still gets onto her platform. She can't stop making noise, which is against the rules, making it clear she's not in the mystery box. So she disqualifies her team from this round. Then, when the other half of blue gets up, Annalie starts coughing, sniffling. TJ gets annoyed with her and disqualifies the second half of blue. Blue team all starts fighting and accusing each other, with Annalie the noisemaker even wondering who made the noise. Nelson and Brad pop off on each other. They leave off not knowing who made the noise, even crying Kara. Gray and orange teams complete the second round. Orange gets all 3 points, but Gray only gets 1 point in the second round, with orange coming out with 6 points. But then at the end, TJ announces the gray team as the winners. They're confused, we're confused at home. It turns out that orange team's code made them answer dishonestly, which was against the rules, so they're disqualified. Since both orange and blue were disqualified, they send captains Tori and Kara back up there for a sudden death trivia to name the 4 kids from South Park. Tori gets it wrong and Kara gets it right, so Tori is dropped. The dropping was a big part of this, but I don't think they had the cameras set up in a way that made the drop satisfying for us. So gray team again will be safe with Keanu and Adrian, the big decision makers. Blue will nominate 2 women, and orange's women will all be eligible to go into elimination. Back at the villa, Keanu tries to strategize to save Annalie. They want to send Letty into elimination against Izzy, but the whole house is assuming Deb is going into elimination. Adrian gets annoyed with Annalie and Keanu for suggesting her friend Izzy goes in. Adrian says if Keanu is trying to throw Izzy into elimination, she will throw the next week's daily to get Keanu into elimination. Around the house, the orange girls chant Deb Chubb to hype Deb up, and Letty shares she was a former wrestler named Stella Lilly and Miss Indiana. She and Kara share an appreciation for each other. Adrian meets with Keanu, confronting him for making deals for himself without consulting his co-captain. He denies coming for Izzy and instantly backs down when he finds out Adrian and Izzy are besties, so they are just going to send in Deb. Blue team strategizes. Their options are rookies Letty, aka Stella Lilly, Riley, and Annalie. Annalie confesses that she coughed. Letty gets annoyed with Annalie for not fessing up in the moment, and Nelson calls out Kara for disqualifying them, accusing her of doing it on purpose, and Josh yells at Kara for it, which was unnecessary. Banana swims over like the nosy kid in the hotel pool and tells Kara to nominate herself for elimination. They head to nominations where captains Josh and Kara straight away nominate Riley, who feels singled out unfairly and is pissed, and the team votes between Letty and Annalie. Riley and Annalie vote for Letty, but Letty, Nelson, and Brad vote Annalie, so Riley and Annalie will be at-risk players heading to elimination. At the arena, they bring out Riley, Annalie, and the orange team girls. Unsurprisingly, Adrian and Keanu choose Riley from blue and Deb from orange to face off in the elimination. They'll be playing line 'em up. They'll run down their lanes to organize their balls into columns of like colors, with one black sabotage ball to set their opponent back. They get started. The visual of them doing this color sorting app game in real life with exercise balls was a cool build. Deb is behind to start, and Michelle is trying to run Deb like the Navy. Deb is trying to be a good teammate, but she drops one of her balls all across the arena and has to go get it. Riley is being calm and calculated, seeming to have better stamina than Deb, who is gassed out. Deb takes a drink of water and carries on, but Riley's team gives her bad advice. She messes up, has to backtrack, and Deb passes her up. In the end, Deb wins this elimination and celebrates by flashing silver pasties to camera. So we lose Riley here. No update on whether Riley was also wearing silver pasties. She was a surprise casting choice for me coming into the season, having clearly trained heavily and taking this very seriously. Her time in these 2 episodes was her being serious and fighting against hope to do well as a rookie. In the end, it wasn't a very memorable run, and I doubt she'll be asked back again. Her greatest moment remains Felicia startling her while saying, "Today!" New captains are picked: Corey and Nerys for gray, Brad and Letty for blue, and Deb and Bananas for orange. Later, Corey is again flirting with Izzy. Nelson breaks it up. Deb and Will are hooking up. So are Adrian and Josh. Letty gets a love note and wears a bikini over her pajamas to meet up with Bananas, and these two are having a freak off in the bath. So that's where we end our 2-part premiere. I thought this was a lot of fun. I'm loving the 3 teams, love a team challenge, and so far this season is bringing the drama. There was fighting on multiple instances between these 2 episodes, which gives me a lot of hope coming into next week, where I hope there's only 1 episode. It's a guy's elimination, and I will be shocked if Keanu is not in that elimination. He is a mess, but he's our mess. But that's all I have to say about these episodes for now. I'll be back next week with more challenge. If you liked the video, consider liking, subscribing, and commenting what you thought of the episode. Until next time, you know where to find me. Bye.